Good morning, everybody. And here we are in talk show number 10 for students of English. Welcome, everybody. Hello.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello,
Hello.
morning.
Good. Yep.
Good morning.
Okay. And so let's see here. So we have our guest today, my cousin from the United States, Nancy. Welcome to the show. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. And you're coming to us today from the beautiful state of Vermont,
hmm
right? Uh
Yes,
huh. It's one of the greenest states in the United States, right?
yes, it is.
Uh huh. Yeah. Okay. What's the weather like there today?
It's 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which for you
Mhm.
all would be about 4.
4 degrees centigrade. Yeah. Uh huh. Okay. Very fresh, very cool there today. Okay. Nancy.
Very cool.
Okay. Let's go ahead and Nancy, you go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Okay. I'm Nancy Allison. I am John's first cousin.
Uh-huh.
His mother, an American, was my mother's sister. And then his mom married a Canadian.
Uh-huh.
I was a teacher of foreign languages for 40 years, and I taught Spanish, French, and Italian for the last 20, 30 years. And I also taught the very basics of German and Russian and Latin.
Oh,
I have
I didn't
this
know that.
house in Vermont because of my parents. Fortunately, I got to inherit it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a younger sister who lives 15 minutes away. She is a
Mm-hmm.
music teacher. And I have an
Mm-hmm.
older brother who lives an hour and a half away who is, he's retired basically, but he
Mm.
has a job where he works at a rest stop. The Vermont rest
Mm.
stops are very beautiful here, and that's that's what he does, and he loves it. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see.
I had
Okay.
I did have an older brother. I should mention I had an older brother, David.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away over 20
Oh.
years ago. He had cancer, but
Yeah.
he was another teacher, and my father was a teacher, and my mother was a college professor. So education in my family.
Well, education, I think, is in in our blood because I'm an English teacher, right?
Yeah,
My
yeah,
my sister Helen, who you've met, is a music
oh
teacher,
yeah, yeah.
uh, and my grandfather, my father's father, was a superintendent of schools.
Wow,
Yeah,
cool.
he was the teacher's boss. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we got teaching in our blood,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
like
And our great grandmother was involved in education. I don't know if you know this, but she was on the board of ed for New York City.
The Board
And
of
she was
Education, really?
a board of education in New York City. She was also a trustee for Hunter College in New York City. Oh yeah, she was a big
Really?
deal. No, yeah,
Oh, what
yeah,
was her
she
name?
was Ella Ella
Ella Wilson, I
Wilson
think.
Kramer. Yeah, her last name, her
Ah,
married name
okay,
was
okay,
Kramer.
okay.
So Ella Kramer
Uh-huh,
was
uh-huh.
a yeah, she was Abu's mother, if you remember Abu.
Okay, 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 okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so she was in
Okay, well, that's
education as
interesting.
well. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Well, a lot of
Okay.
teachers.
Uh-huh. Okay. Awesome. Let me see. Okay. Well, let's go around and briefly introduce everybody else. Everybody, please introduce yourself. Let's start with Hillary.
oh, all right.
Hola,
Well,
Hillary.
yeah, my name is hello, Nancy. My name is Hilary. I'm 20. I'm working as an auxiliary accountant. Um, yeah, I'm pretty excited and curious about you and your journey.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay.
Nice to meet you,
Nella.
Hillary.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Marianela Lobo. I work as a political advisor in the local government for a
Wow.
local party, and I'm very glad to meet you.
Yep.
You need to come up here and help us with our politics.
Oh, there you go.
We have
It's so
we have
great
our
here.
problems too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Leo, of course, you were married to Marianella.
Oh,
Oh, no
really?
kidding.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
it makes sense. That's why you see her every morning.
Yes.
Well,
Right.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
You
Okay,
get
my
old.
name
When you
is-
get old, you start to forget things, right?
What kind of things?
Don't worry about it.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, John,
Yep.
for invite us. My name is Leonardo. I go by Leo. I am jump student
Leo.
since well,
Oh my goodness.
19.
No,
Let's say
no, not 19. No.
Let's say 2000.
Somewhere around 2002 or 2003.
Wow.
But
Exactly
that time,
sure.
John
That was the
used
first time. That was the first time.
long hair.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I had long hair.
Long hair, ponytail, but
Oh,
not,
yeah.
not a pony. It wasn't like pure blood.
It
Tail.
wasn't like what?
Pure blood. I don't know how to say, but
Pure
it's
blood?
like a horse.
A pure
Yeah,
blood
pura
horse.
sangre. Pure. A horse with a very pure
Pure breed.
breed.
Oh, not a pure breed horse.
Not a ponytail. It
Compliment?
was a big one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And
He always carry his umbrella to the classes.
yeah,
like
but it's
a
Costa Rica.
typical
You always
teacher.
carry an umbrella. You always have to have an umbrella in Costa Rica, except
Yes.
in the summer. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. Good. Yeah.
I'm
so-
retired. I'm 62.
Oh, yeah.
I'm retired. I retired 2.5 years ago. And I'm so happy.
Mm-hmm.
You're happy. Yeah.
I don't know
Mhm.
Nella, but I'm so happy.
Don't you miss working for Intel?
Not. No.
No.
Please,
Oh,
no.
come on. I don't believe you. Okay. Yeah, you were in.
I worked for semiconductors industry for, let's say, 22 years or something like that.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Okay, that's enough for you. Good. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Yes, as I mentioned in the introduction, Nancy lives in Vermont part of the year, and in California. You said Monterey, California,
Mm-hmm.
which is closer to San Francisco than Los Angeles, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, how do you go from one part of the country to the other? Do you go by car, by plane? How do you go?
I drive. I drive
Wow.
my car from California, and I've been doing it since 2006. And
Oh.
it's a silly reason. The reason was I had a yellow lab, and she hated flying.
Oh, you mean
So-
Labrador?
A dog,
Dog.
a Labrador,
Okay,
a yellow lab. Yep, the dog, and
Oh,
she
of
did
course.
not like flying. So I figured, well, this way I would have my car there. So I've been
Uh-huh.
driving ever since. And my husband, he's from Los Angeles, and so he
Okay.
doesn't want to spend the heat and humidity in Vermont. So
Okay.
he flies across to meet up with me in August. And then we drive back together. And like Leo, we get to goof off because we're both retired. We can stop and visit places along the way. So
Mhm.
sometimes it'll take us 2 weeks to get back because we're having too
Oh.
much of a good time.
You're in no hurry, and you don't have
No
a timeline
pressure.
or
Nothing.
totally
And when I was
awesome.
when I was a teacher, I would count. I was a department chair. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was the leader of my department, and
Mm-hmm.
all the department chairs would meet before the entire faculty would meet. So I would
Right.
say to my boss, when's the department heads meeting? And then I would count back 6 days. And that's when I would start my trip from Vermont to
Oh, really,
California
really.
because I
Oh,
didn't
okay,
want to
okay.
get back. I was never in a hurry to go back to work. Like Leo, I did not want to go back to work.
I see, I see.
So,
Uh-huh.
so being
Okay.
retired is wonderful.
So it must be really exciting to travel across the country like that. You get
It
to
is.
see
It's
a lot of
a lot
different
of
places.
fun. Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
For
And you get to
Nancy,
know the
how long
country.
it takes you?
If I'm by myself, remember I'm not in a hurry, but I would say 8 to 10 days, usually about 8 days to drive across.
Wow.
I have now have two little dogs, and so I don't. Geez, John, you're going to have to translate this one. I don't know. I don't want to drive more than 500 miles a day. So
Okay.
I usually drive 4 to 450, maybe 500. What are you guys
Okay.
in kilometers down there?
Yep. Uh-huh. But
Yeah.
Don't worry.
we have heard of Miles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I choose a route. Next year, what I really would like to do is drive from Monterey up to Vancouver, go see your sister, and
Oh
then
yeah.
drive across Canada.
Well, that's
Um,
longer.
yeah, but I'm not in a hurry.
Right.
What's
Right.
the hurry?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I've never
You're
done
not
it.
worried about it.
You know, yeah, I don't have to worry about it. So yeah,
Okay.
so
Uh-huh.
I'd say about 8 days is the norm for me. And
Uh-huh.
there are places in the United States that, hotels that accept dogs.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I always stay in a dog-friendly hotel, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's more for me to get back on the way over. But when
Mm-hmm.
my husband and I drive to California, that's where we really stop and see things. I try to
Mm-hmm.
see one or two things coming across on my own, but
Mm-hmm.
mostly the tourist part of me is with him and when we come across.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I see. I
it's
see.
fun. I love driving. You got to like driving.
Oh yeah, yeah, you do. Yeah.
It's
Have you
good.
ever driven through the Canadian Rockies?
Not driven, but we did our honeymoon through the Canadian Rockies. We went up to
Oh, long time ago. Mhm.
yeah, we went up to Vancouver and caught the train and went
Okay.
across the Canada that way. We got off at uh, Banff,
Banff.
and
Oh yeah,
we stayed around,
I
Lake
love Banff.
Louise and Banff and that whole area. And then we took a bus to go from Canada down to Yellowstone. And we spent
Oh,
time at
okay, okay.
Yellowstone Park and then
Oh,
flew
okay,
home
okay.
actually,
Uh-huh.
we flew home from Jackson, Wyoming. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that was our
actually
honeymoon, was up in Canada.
right way back in the 1980s. I worked for one summer in Lake Louise in the Canadian
Oh, no
Rockies
kidding. Wow.
in Banff National Park.
Hmm.
Such a beautiful place. Oh, it's like
Unbelievable.
one of the most beautiful places in the world, and I'm not
It
exaggerating.
is.
That is actually
No,
true. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. I'd love to
it,
go back there
it's,
again someday. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Well, let's see. I am interested. I knew you were a Spanish
John,
teacher. Yeah.
I did the math, and
Oh,
500 miles are about 800 kilometers.
800 kilometers. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a lot to do in one
I
day.
feel very similar, like Nancy. When we are driving, I start feeling leg ache about 2 hours, and I need to stop or at least change the driver's seat. It's not funny to be driving and
It's not
feeling.
fun.
Yes, it's not funny driving and
Fun.
feeling
It's not
bad.
fun.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
not fun.
Right. It's not fun.
No.
Thank you, teacher. Okay.
No.
Unless Marianella is laughing at you.
Yes,
No,
If she's laughing at you when you have the leg, then it's funny.
that's why I repeat
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No.
to
Yeah.
make
He
her
used to
laugh
change
more.
when he's tired. But I like
Okay.
to drive. He
You like
doesn't
to
like
drive.
to drive very much, but I like to drive.
Uh-huh.
Good.
I like to stop.
Okay. So, yeah. So, Nancy, you're fluent in Spanish, but
Mhm.
you also had a lot of experience teaching French. I didn't know that. Right?
Yep. Yeah, that was
Are you
my undergraduate was in Spanish and in French.
are you fluent
My
in French?
undergraduate degree.
Uh-huh. Yep. Are you fluent in French?
Eh, if I'm up in Montreal or Quebec, I can get by pretty well. So
Oh, yeah.
the last
Uh-huh.
the last language I officially studied was Italian, and that's because my husband's brother from Los
Uh-huh.
Angeles married a woman from Milan, Italy.
Mhm.
And
Oh, okay.
so I wanted to be able to speak to her in Italian. So,
Oh.
and your sister's really testing me right now because she did so much studying in Italy that she's really
Yes.
gotten very good. And so
Has
she
she?
writes to me.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, she only writes me now in Italian when she emails me.
Oh,
And so
really?
it's good.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just to let
Yeah.
everybody know, I have a sister in Canada, and she is learning Italian because, as I understand it, she wants to live in Italy.
Really? Wow,
Oh,
she's never told me that.
awesome.
Wow.
Well,
Well,
I don't know. I don't know if it's live or just spend like part of the year there.
yeah.
But she
Good for her.
wants to be very connected with Italy. Let's say it that way.
Nancy,
Okay.
I
Well,
want to know how
go ahead.
how did you learn to speak Spanish?
I started learning. Okay. Well, the story goes that when I applied to colleges, the advice I wanted to be an American history teacher because I love
Okay.
US history. And at that time, the admissions directors, that accept you into the college would say to me, you don't want to do that because we have too many American history majors and they can't get jobs especially if you want to teach. So what's your second favorite subject? And I said French. And they said, okay, you can do that, but you should major in another language. So
Mhm.
I started my senior year in high school, my last year in high school, I started studying Spanish. And then I went to college and I was studying both of them, French and Spanish. And my incredibly handsome advisor was from Spain. His name was Enrique Ojembarena. Ugh, was he gorgeous. Anyway, he told me that I needed to study in Spain. So I went to Spain and I lived in Sevilla, Spain, for a year. Came back and got my degree. I then spent a summer in Mexico, in Guadalajara, doing graduate work. And then I went back to Spain for a summer and studied in Valencia, Spain. And then I started my master's degree. And you guys don't know this, but in Vermont is one of the best language schools in the United States. It's at Middlebury
Really?
College. Yeah, Middlebury College, which happens to be 20 minutes from here. And so I attended Middlebury to get my master's degree. So that's and then I've been to Cuba, Argentina, Mexico, where else have I been? Puerto,
Spain again, I think, right?
obviously España, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, the
Right.
one place I haven't been to is Costa Rica, but I got a cousin there, so I can go visit.
Yeah,
Of
you have
course.
a reason to visit here now. Yeah. Yeah.
Have any of your siblings visited you?
Pardon?
Any of your siblings visited you
Me,
down in Costa Rica?
only my sister Helen.
Really? Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If my other siblings, if my other sisters and brothers are listening, yeah, I could say something about that, but I should close my mouth actually. Okay.
And also,
Yeah.
you should also know that John's sister is an accomplished pianist. She plays the piano beautifully.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons, see, that's funny that you tell me she wants to live in Italy. I didn't know that. I thought she was going to Italy because she loves opera. And
Yeah.
back 20 years ago, she and I would meet up in different cities in the United States to go
Mhm.
hear an opera. And we'd spend the weekend together. So one time we did it in Seattle. Another time we did it in New York City.
Mhm.
We did one in San Francisco. So she loves opera. And because opera, for the most part, is in Italian, she wanted
Mhm.
to be able to understand it and speak it. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun when we used to do that. It was before I had kids. So,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. And one thing that my sister has done is she's often worked with opera singers playing the piano to accompany
mhm,
them, and so she's played music. She's played a lot of opera music, and so she
mhm,
has been exposed to a lot of Italian because of that. Because most
right.
opera is in Italian. Yeah. So yeah. Um, yeah. Okay. So the master's degree you got, was that a master's in Spanish or a master's
Yes.
in education
No, Spanish.
in Spanish?
Now it's that was back a long time ago. That was in 86. But
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
now when you go to the same college for that degree, it's a master's in the teaching of Spanish. So I
mm-hmm,
got it with my emphasis was in the actual language.
mm-hmm.
And I've only taught in private schools.
Okay.
In the United States, the public schools want to see the teaching of Spanish. They're more interested in the education, but in private schools, they want you to prove that you know your subject well. And so a master's in Spanish would be much more appealing to a private school than a public school.
Oh, okay.
And
I
I
see.
felt that way too. So,
And
you know,
a question I'd like to ask you. This it might seem very obvious to you, but for Costa Ricans, I think this is an interesting question, and that is, what is the importance of learning Spanish in the United States in general? How how
the
how
whole
important is it?
west coast of California.
Uh huh.
It's funny that you say that because the East Coast,
Hmm.
Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, the
Hmm.
language that kids choose to study is French, and it's because
Really?
of the French Canadians. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
huge, huge, huge classes of French.
Hmm.
But for most part, the rest of the country, especially on the West Coast, you
Hmm.
got all of the West Coast and Texas. And then if you think of you guys know all the states that
Right.
are
Right.
Spanish names
Hmm.
like Montana and Colorado and
Arizona, hmm,
Arizona.
California.
You have this huge California.
Hmm.
Um, you have this huge population of Latin Americans.
Hmm.
And so because they originally owned it, so of course they're going to be a lot of the descendants still living in the US. So
Hmm.
the importance of speaking Spanish, it's really come in handy for me, especially in California. And when I have somebody who comes to deliver something and the English is very weak, I'll automatically go right into Spanish.
Hmm.
I had a
Hmm.
guy deliver a package here about a month ago, and he was stumbling in his English, and I finally said to him, "Usted habla español, huh?" And oh boy, was he happy, because then it was we were able to communicate just fine. And
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Americans are really stubborn when it comes to learning a foreign language. There's this attitude among Americans that we're the best, so you learn English because we don't have to learn your language.
Right, right.
But I've helped out several people because I was able to communicate with them in Spanish.
Right. Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Now,
Can I tell you a quick story?
sure,
Yeah, right.
sure. We love stories.
I was at the DMV, which is the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I had just moved to Los Angeles from the East Coast. I grew up in the East Coast in Connecticut. And I moved to the West Coast. I got a job out there, and I had to get my license, a California license.
Your driver's license.
Yeah, my driver's license. So I went out there, and I'm at the office of Department of Motor Vehicles. We call it the DMV. And I'm standing in line, and there are these two Mexicans in front of me. And then there are a couple more behind me standing in line. And, I'm well, I don't know what you guys do, but I'm 5'6", and I got blue eyes. So I'm about as American looking as you can get.
Right.
And the guy in front of me says to the other guy, ¿Por qué estamos aquí? ¿Cuál es el propósito de estar aquí en esta fila? And the other guy says, Yo no sé. And so the guy turns around, looks at me, and goes right to the guy behind me because he figures, gringa, she's not going to understand Spanish, right?
Oh, okay.
So he goes to the guy behind me, ¿Cuál es el propósito de esta fila? ¿Por qué estamos aquí? And the guy says, Yo no sé. Pero este señor aquí me dijo que esta es la fila que necesito yo. So then he comes to me and he says to me in very British, what this line for? And I went right into Spanish. And I said, to get your license so that you can drive. But I did it in Spanish.
Right.
And I turned around to his friend and said, La gringa habla español. La gringa habla español. Because it's just not a common thing for Americans to speak Spanish. And, it's a little bit different. There are, it's getting better on the West Coast because of the number of Latinos that we have there. But no, in the middle of the country, no, nobody wants to learn a foreign language. So
right.
Yeah, it's so important. Oh yeah, it's exactly. It's very important.
Anyone else in your family speak in Spanish?
No.
I mean, you practice every day?
No.
Oh.
Once in a while, I work at a beach in the summertime, about 10 minutes from here. And, folks will come through who only speak Spanish, and I'll talk to them. But other than that, I have a good friend in Barcelona, and I'll email her and I'll write to her in Spanish. But actually speaking, no. Every time I go back to Spain, for instance, we lived in Spain during COVID, and
right.
When we first got to Spain, it was like, oh boy, did I forget a lot of Spanish. But it comes right back to you. It comes so quickly back. It's ingrained in my brain. So, yeah.
But I imagine when you're in California, if you're in a public place like a shopping mall or out in the street,
you hear it all the time.
Lots of people it's like it's around you. People are
absolutely
around you, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of interesting because here in Costa Rica, people study English to get the best jobs that there are. We have
makes sense.
Multinational companies that are often US based here, and it's often the case that the better paying jobs and the jobs with better benefits are the ones that are multinational. And to get into those, you need to speak English. Okay.
Right.
So here, English is all about moving up. It's about
Right.
making sure you have the best job, the best career trajectory for yourself in the future. Is it the
Right.
same way in the United States? And here it's across all professions.
Yes.
Okay, doesn't if
Yeah.
you're an engineer or you're in information technology or you're an accountant or a teacher, maybe not so much teachers, but any profession where you're going to be working for a company and not the government, then yeah, if you want to go as far as you possibly can in your professional career, then you need to have English. But it's not quite that way in the United States, is it?
Oh yeah, it is.
It
Oh yeah.
is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
You got to know English to work here.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You
Yeah. And
no, no,
it's
no,
the
English.
same.
No, I mean with Spanish.
Oh no,
Uh, yeah.
no, no,
So you don't have to
no,
learn Spanish in order to get the best job.
no, no, no,
Okay.
not at
Yeah.
all. No. Mm-mm. No,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
English all
Yeah.
day. It's, as I said, there's this obsession with Americans in general. The obsession is we're the best, and so you have to learn my language because I'm not going to learn yours. Which is
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
sad. And
Mhm.
usually, in a school budget, for instance, in the public school situation, the first department that will be cut and not given any money will be the fine arts. And then after that, languages. When I was the
Right.
department chair, I introduced Chinese because we had so many requests from parents because of the relationship that the United States has with China. They wanted them to learn Chinese. And
Okay.
it was there for 5 years, and I retired, and they got rid of it. They
Okay.
just said, yeah, no, no, no. There's no reason why should we teach. It's too much on the budget. And in the meantime, it's kind of a funny thing. I love Latin, the language of Latin. Yeah, the Romans spoke. I absolutely love it. But the Latin classes would total 25 kids, and the Chinese
They
would be
actually they
more like
actually they taught
25.
Latin.
Yet,
Sorry, that's really
yeah,
quite a surprise
Chinese,
because
so it's
they taught Latin. Wow.
yeah, yeah, I
Because
love Latin. Oh,
it's not really well, the only people who speak Latin, communicate in Latin, are usually the some of the people, some of the priests in the Catholic Church, right?
right. Yeah,
Right.
and there actually is. I know this because of my Italian sister-in-law
Mhm.
in the Dolomites, the Alps of Italy. There are people who speak a form of Latin to this day. It's called
Oh, yes.
Ladino,
Okay.
and so they still do it. But to me, Latin was very important because English is so made up of has a tremendous amount of Latin influence.
Oh,
And that's
yes.
another one of my passions is etymology. I love etymology. I love knowing where a word came from. And so
Mhm.
that's Latin to me was just, boy, when I learned Latin, I was in heaven. I just thought it was such a great language. And I
Just
believe that every kid should have a little bit of Latin in their lives.
right,
It makes
right. Yeah.
school so much easier, especially in law and medicine and
Mhm.
computer technology. They're using a lot of Latin. So,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm, mhm. Yeah. Just to clarify, etymology, people may not know what that means, but etymology is the study of where words came from, right?
Right. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh. And so I
The
actually
origin
touch
of
on that.
words.
Yeah, I actually touch on that a little bit in my classes because,
Oh, good.
uh, yeah, Spanish is like 95% Latin, and
Hmm.
meaning that almost all of Spanish came from Latin.
Right.
And in English, it's not that way. Yes, there is
No.
big influence of Latin, but the other major influence is Anglo-Saxon, and also there's some French in there too. But one of the tricks that I used for teaching English is in when it comes to the grammar of English, part of it is Latin based, and part of it is Anglo-Saxon based. And
Right.
the thing is that which one is easier for Spanish speakers? Well, it's the Latin because it's similar, right?
Right.
And the Anglo-Saxon part, that's where you get all these auxiliary verbs like do and does and did, and like that. What is that? You try to translate those words into Spanish, they don't exist in Spanish,
Right.
as auxiliary verbs. They don't exist, right?
Right.
And so, and then there's also the matter of vocabulary. There's also, you almost always have an Anglo-Saxon word and a Latin word for the same thing, right? You have smart and you have intelligent. Okay. Well,
Right.
which word is easier for Spanish speakers? Intelligent, because it's similar to inteligente.
Inteligencia.
Right. Okay. But if you look at the word smart and you've never seen it before, you're like, what is that word? You don't have any idea what it is. So it's a bit of a language hack. In cases where you have an option of a Spanish word or a Latin-based word in English, you're going to be able to the Latin-based word is going to be more familiar to you. And as a Spanish speaker speaking English, and let's say you get to a word that you don't know in English, but you know what the Spanish word is. So, for example, let's choose intelectual. Okay, that's the Spanish word. Okay, well, just try to make it sound like an English word. And you have to know how to do that, and you might get it. You might say intellectual, which is what it is. That's what it is. Okay. Now it doesn't always work, right? And sometimes you're gonna look crazy because you're gonna try to say something, and you think that's what you think it must be a certain word that sounds a certain way in English, and you try it, and you're basing this on your knowledge of Spanish, and then you find out that this word in Spanish doesn't have a similar word in English, and
Nancy,
so
sorry, John.
you say something that people don't understand at all, right?
Nancy, I have two questions.
Okay.
When you were a teacher, did you teach in high school or middle school? And how did you work out the living in California and living in Vermont with your job?
Oh, okay. First of all, yes. I taught middle school and high school.
Oh, okay, both.
With it, I did both. My last job I was at for 30 years, and it was high school. And once I became department chair, I then could decide what classes I wanted to teach. So when I left, when I retired, I was teaching Spanish 1, the very basics of the language. And I was also teaching kids we have in the United States a program called advanced placement. And if you take an advanced placement class, we call them AP classes, it's at the college level. And so when you apply to college, you can then get credit from the college for the class that you took at high school. So I taught the very beginning and the very talented, the ones going to college. So I did the highest.
Oh,
we lost her. Oh my goodness. Okay, she must have an internet problem. Just a second. I think she's just come back. Yeah. Okay. Hello, Nancy. We lost you there for a second, but we have you back, although we cannot see you and we cannot hear you either. So, while she's trying to figure out what happened there, maybe she lost her internet. I don't know. But I just want to point out that, yeah, she's talking about college and she basically means university. Okay, don't confuse college with colegio. Again, those are two words that are similar, so you would think they would refer to the same thing, but colegio is high school.
Okay.
Okay, and college is usually college can have different meanings actually, but most of the time it refers to university, and although sometimes it refers to just like the first couple of years in university. Um, so there are some differences depending on where you are studying. But let me see. Okay, I think we have Nancy back because she's there, but I don't see her camera. Let's turn her on and let's see if we get anything here. Hello, Nancy. I don't know if you can hear us, but we are not. You are in the live show, but we don't see or hear you. So not sure what happened there to you, but yeah. Let me see. Well, while we're waiting for her to fix the problem on her end, yeah. Let me see. Were there any questions that you wanted to ask Nancy?
I have
Um,
one, actually.
yeah,
I
what
have
is it?
one, and it's related with what's the way they, well, in this case, she learned Spanish. Is the same way they learned English? Because I don't know if that's right, but here, teaching Spanish, our language, is not the same way a professor teaches English. It's
Mm,
not like you are reading a book in Spanish and we talk about the book
mm-hmm,
to be more talking. We
mm-hmm,
just feel like the basic things. It's now so strong in my opinion. I don't know. I would like to know about that actually. What's the
mm-hmm.
way to learn Spanish?
Yeah.
And well, she's really into languages actually.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah,
Not
she is. Yeah.
and English, also French, Italy, Latin, and all those. That's
Yeah.
pretty interesting about her. I'm curious.
Yeah. I just got a message here on WhatsApp from Nancy, and she had a power outage actually in her house, which means that she has no electricity. So, but apparently it's back on, and she's probably waiting for her internet to reboot, for her router to reboot, and so we just probably have to wait a minute or so here. But yeah, uh, Marianella, what has been the most interesting thing for you so far? Marianella? Marianella, we
I
don't
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
We don't hear you.
Sorry.
Yeah, we do.
Nancy
Yeah.
was writing on the chat. Maybe you can check it out. Um,
Oh, yep,
well,
yep.
I think it's very I don't know how to explain it. I think it's very interesting, and that's why my last question is living in two far away places.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, living in California and living in Vermont, and all the way she have to drive to get to one place or another, and having a job. I don't know. I think it's pretty awesome. You can do that.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Marianella here is on the chat, and she's trying to figure out how to get back in and get her camera and microphone working. So she's going to sign out and sign back in. So it sounds like her computer is working, but yeah, uh, something is not working right. So she's trying to fix that. Okay. Yeah. Um, let's see here. Leonardo, do you have anything to add to the conversation? Leo,
Sorry, it wasn't me. I wasn't
you're on
mute.
mute. Oh, I was just wondering if you have anything to add to the conversation.
Oh no, not at this point, John. I was trying
Okay.
to
Mm-hmm. Okay.
follow the.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, just a second here. Okay. It looks like she's coming back in. Yep.
Yep.
We got you
Hey.
back. Good.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Awesome. Yeah.
Apologize. Well, so let me answer Marianella's question.
Uh huh.
United States, the majority of the country, the kids go to school between September and June.
Hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the reason I was able to do both sides of the country is because we would have a summer break from June until the end of August. So
Okay.
when I first got the house, when I first inherited the house, I was only here for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
I retired, and then I can stay as long as I want to.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I heard Hillary's question, but you wanted to know about
Yeah.
languages?
Yeah, Nancy, all right. I wanted to know the way you learn Spanish. Is the same way
Oh, okay.
you guys learn English or it's different?
I'm not sure how you guys learn English. How do you learn English?
Well, yeah. Do you want to talk about that, Hillary?
Yeah, a little bit, maybe. Okay, I was saying actually that because I think the way we learned Spanish, our language, is not the same way we learned English. The basics are just basics in English, but it's not like you take a book, start reading, and we talk about that like in Spanish and like in a Spanish class but in English, you just like learned about how to say something like a sentence. It's not so deep. That's what
Oh, I see.
I'm curious in English
Okay.
and in Spanish, but in your country.
So, Hillary, you're saying that in learning
In
English here in Costa Rica, you're not actually speaking a lot of English. Is that right?
No, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Okay.
In private schools in the US, kids start learning Spanish in the youngest age, 5 years old,
Oh.
because they know scientifically it's been proven that the younger you are,
Mm.
the easier it is to learn a
Yeah.
language. And I used to this was part of my graduate work, was that we had to learn about, well, if kids are good at 5, what happens when they hit 13, when they're 13 years old?
Mm.
And you can easily tell, and my daughter was the best example of this. I spent the summer in Italy with my sister-in-law. My daughter was 4,
Mm.
and she picked up Italian very easily, very easily. She had no idea what she was saying, but she was able to get to the point. She used to walk around saying "Che bella, che bella, che bella,"
Mm.
and the kids would say to her, "Corinne, sai parlare italiano? Do you know how to speak Italian?" And she'd say "Sì," but she had no clue. Whereas, so in the United States, they start them in kindergarten, which is, for us, it's 5 years old. They start learning a
Mhm.
language, and they have this is in private schools. Public schools, they get the language, but maybe unlike the private schools, because they have the funds to be able to offer it every day. Public schools only, they will start them, but they will do it like once a week. So by the time the teacher comes again the next time to teach in Espanol, for
Mm.
instance, they've already forgotten everything.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So the time that in public schools kids start learning a language is about 12 years old, which is getting late. Um, I only have experience in private schools. I can't speak for the public school system in the United States.
Mm.
But in my classroom, what we would try to emphasize was to speak to them in Spanish when they walked in the door.
Right.
You know, you just say, hola, 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 ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Yo me llamo, and eventually we would get to the point where I told you about that class I taught at the college level. I used to make my students laugh because the head of the school, the principal of the school would come in to observe me and would not know any Spanish at all. And so I would walk into the classroom and I always told the kids, okay, the mi jefe is coming to visit the class. So, behave yourselves. And then I'd go right into Spanish and I would say things to them in Spanish about the person visiting the class. Like, boy, is she tall. You think she's okay? She doesn't bump her head when she goes under, whatever, silly things like that. And they would just die laughing because the person sitting there understood nothing but could see the kids were engaged and laughing and understanding because we started speaking to them as soon as they walked into that very first Spanish class. The school I taught in recruits kids from abroad, so we had a lot of Chinese kids, and so by the time they got into my college level class, they were now on their third language. Mandarin was first, then English, and then Spanish. And I could just say anything to them in Spanish and they'd understand it. There's also a national exam for the kids who are in those advanced placement classes. They take a national exam and they're scored between a 1 and a 5. If you pass, you have to have at least a 3, and that way you can get college credit if you pass. And my kids always did fairly well, between 4 and 5, and that just always made me feel so great because they had learned in the class because we only spoke in Spanish. And I was telling Marianela, we used to read a book by I forget his name, but whenever the kids wrote the book, I'll tell you a quick story. I had a kid who went to Yale, and I don't know if you guys know about the big shot universities in the United States, but Yale is a really, really good school. Very hard to go to. You can't. It's very hard to get into. And this kid went into his first Spanish class, and when he was in his third year of high school, we call that juniors. When he was a junior, he read a book. There's a book by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and it's called I retire and I forget the name. Crónica de una muerte anunciada. And he goes into his class, and this Spanish-speaking professor, she was from Puerto Rico, says, has anybody ever read this book? Crónica de una muerte anunciada. And he raises his hand. This is at Yale. And she says, you probably read it in English. He said, oh no, we read it in Spanish. So we, as a school, we really put forth that effort of teaching kids the language. They had it when they were 5 years old, and they had it all the way through until they graduated from high school. So we don't make them learn lines. We make them speak the language and just help them along as they're speaking it. If they don't know a particular vocabulary word or whatever, it's very different. I was like you, Hillary. When I was 12 years old, I took French, and we had to memorize dialogues. What's that going to do you? You need to get the people involved, and if they don't know a word, tell them what the word is. So that's how I did it. Anyway.
Right. So basically, with the students that you were teaching, if they were dropped in the middle of rural Mexico somewhere, where people don't speak English, they could survive, They could
Absolutely.
talk to people and find how to get out of there, or
Right.
whatever, you know.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and that's real fluency. That is, you know, real
Well,
speaking
the,
fluency.
the the only comment I would have there is that I taught them Spanish from Spain. So if they were
Okay.
dropped into rural Mexico, they would come across a lot of
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Aztec words that,
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
never taught them.
So
But yeah, that
you were
they
teaching
learned Castilian.
Castilian Spanish. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I see.
And by
Yeah.
the way, I forgot to mention that when we lived in Barcelona, I also learned Catalan, which
Oh,
Oh,
was
really?
the regional language of Barcelona is called Catalan. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yep. I was taking a class when COVID hit. So yeah, I
Yeah.
loved
Yeah.
Catalan. It was very, obviously a form of Spanish, but their own way. They would do things their own
Uh-huh.
way. So
Right. Right.
so anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, my kids could get through. No problem.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I think um, when I learned English, well, it was a very long time ago, and there wasn't many uh, schools or bilingual schools in that time, and I only received
Right.
a class per week of English, and I remember, well, we never read a book in English, and
Wow.
I think the way I learned English was because I were in a exchange students for a few months,
oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
and not even a few months. I think it was only a month, and I went to Rochester, New York,
Oh,
and
no kidding.
yeah,
Rochester. Yeah.
and then
Cold.
yeah, very cold, and it was in February. Was very 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 cold. I remember
Yeah.
that, and they took me
Yes.
to the Niagara Falls, and they were the
Niagara Falls,
coldest
right?
place, the coldest place I've ever been.
Hmm.
I only can't
I
get out
believe
of
that.
the car like I don't know, like 1 minute out of the car, just to take some
Yeah.
pictures and get back in
Yeah.
the car because I couldn't resist the cold.
No,
So so
I understand.
I really think I learned English in that 3 weeks I
Right.
was there. I were there.
Right.
Um,
No, you got it right. I was there. That's
I
right.
was there, and I think I got fluent there. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I,
Yep.
I knew the basics of English, and of
Mhm.
course, uh, but of course, receiving one class a week was very, very, very,
Oh,
very low of
Oh, yeah.
what we should
yeah.
be learning just to have at least a good English.
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
That's I
yeah.
was I was in charge of programs at my school that sent kids abroad. I
Hmm.
said, I had this one kid in my class who spent the summer in Sevilla, Spain. And I don't know if you know about Sevilla, Spain, but they speak Spanish that's almost impossible to understand. And so when he came back, he had that accent, and I had studied there, so I understood what he was saying. But his classmates were like, "What are you speaking?" And my perfect example of that would be, "Vamos a comer un helado." Okay. In Seville, Spain, they say, "Vamos a comer un helado." That's how they say it.
Okay.
Vamos a
Really?
comer un helado. Oh my God, it's so thick. Yeah, it's like Southern United States. It's so
Yeah. Yeah.
thick.
Yeah.
And so I told him, you got to work on that accent, because if you take that AP exam, the people correcting it are not going to understand you.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
the ones who definitely went and spend like you did, 3 weeks to a month, came back with so much fluency. Well, that's the
Oh,
case
yeah.
with your sister, John. Oh my God. She goes over for a couple of weeks the first time, and then she spent, I think it was like a month this year. Her Italian is amazing. And it's just
Really?
because oh yeah, she's really good. And she was in
Oh, okay. Okay.
Cortona, which is in Tuscany. So I doubt
Uh-huh.
there were very few English speakers there. So, oh yeah,
Okay.
she's
Okay.
gotten really good. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah. But I agree.
Yeah.
You gotta go live somewhere.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just don't go to the
Immersion.
southern part of the United States. As a matter of fact, we had a teacher from Louisiana. She was from Louisiana, and I made her
Louisiana.
come in
Yeah.
Louisiana, and she walked by Marin, and I said to the kids I had from China were sitting there, and I said, okay, talk to these kids. And she did. They understood nothing.
Nothing.
And it wasn't that they didn't know English, they couldn't understand her accent.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Rochester's good because that's good North New York. So that was a good place
Right.
to go to,
Right.
even
Right.
though it's cold.
Yeah. Louisiana
But
is
yeah,
tough because
yeah.
there are so many influences on that accent. There's French. There's various Caribbean ways of speaking. Let's say. And including and there's also probably some Spanish influence in there as well. So yeah, it's usually I think that's considered to be one of the harder accents to understand in the United
Oof,
States. Yeah.
we have a problem with it.
Right, yeah. But yeah, okay. Well, it's coming up to 10 o'clock, so I guess well, it's actually just a little bit after 10 o'clock. So yeah, I think we'll end the show here. But yeah, it was really interesting to talk to you today, Nancy. And
Good.
I think we all invite you to come down to Costa Rica
Yeah.
and learn
Yeah.
Perfect.
about
I would
this
love that.
country and this culture down here. And yeah, you're certainly welcome to visit me. I definitely want you to come. Actually, I'd love to have more family come and visit me.
I know. That's what a
Yeah,
shame, huh?
yeah, I
Jeez.
know. But I have a lot of family members who, well, with the exception of Helen. Helen loves to travel, and so do I.
Yeah,
But the others,
yeah,
they don't like traveling at all. So
yeah.
yeah, but
They just want to stay in Halifax.
yeah, that's a nice place. It's a nice place, but there's a lot of other interesting places in the world.
Interesting places in the world. That's right.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
John, did you know
Okay.
did you know that my mother was a stewardess?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Yep.
that's where I get it
Flight
from.
attendant.
Yeah, she was a
Oh
flight.
yeah,
Well, she
she's
said
traveling all the
stewardess.
time. Yeah.
She was
Oh yeah.
traveling all the
Well,
time.
yeah. Back in her day, they were called stewardesses.
She
Yeah.
said, I am not a flight attendant. I was a stewardess. So,
Did
so
she
anyway, I
actually?
think that's where I get it from.
Did she speak any other languages?
No,
No,
nope,
she didn't. Oh, okay.
no. But she taught English.
Yeah, she taught English. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
And she
like
introduced
me.
English as a second language at the college where she was working.
Oh,
She was the one who started the program there. So, yeah. Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
it's pretty well the same thing that I do. Well, it's almost exactly the same thing that I do. Yeah.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
but she had 3 master's degrees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We told her to go for the PhD and she said, "No, I don't want to."
Right.
So, yeah, she had
right,
an
right.
undergraduate and she got 3 masters. Yep.
3 master's
So,
degree.
That's
Okay.
why she was a
Wow.
professor.
Okay.
You know.
Well, that's really incredible.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
Yep.
mucho gusto to all of you. That was really great.
Nice to
Uh-huh.
meet you, Nancy.
Great
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
meet
nice
okay.
to meet you too. And nos vemos, huh?
Yeah,
Un
you
día
have
en
to come
Costa
to Costa
Hopefully.
Rica.
Okay,
Yeah.
then.
Would
Good.
love it. Okay. Take care.
Thank
Okay,
you.
then.
Take care. Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Adios. Yo.